Malignant is a 2021 movie directed and written by James Wan, originally set to release in August of 2020, delayed due to COVID of course, but officially released in September of 2021. James Wan decided not to return to the Conjuring trilogy in favor of this film. When this was announced, my reaction was first shocked. I thought Wan would want to finish the series that he had created and popularized with The Conjuring. When I saw he was releasing this, I was super excited and hopeful for this new project. It seemed like to be a passion project, which brought me so much excitement to my little nerd heart. I love seeing directors put their heart and soul into something they actually care about. But unfortunately, I was disappointed. The story seems like it's trying to confuse you and tries to throw you on your heels and keep you guessing about what's really actually going on. Think about that as when it loses something interesting, it keeps trucking in the wrong direction. Honestly, with everything it did put in my head, I was like, this could be really, really good. Then I realized what has been going on all along, and all I have to say is, what the fuck is this shit? Some ideas I had were, it's a DID situation, which had been done in Split, but this was looking to take a more ominous take to it, more serious. Or maybe a shadowy demon protector from medicine after the first scene. That's what I originally thought. But it ends up to be this parasitic twin that controls and manipulates our main character to murder doctors who had hid the parasite away. It's super out of pocket. Absurd, really. There's always a place for absurdity, but it knows its place and belongs in its own world. Something like Sleepaway Camp in the later Friday the 13th movies, even Conjuring films to a point, have this absurdity. This movie feels grounded in a semi-paranormal world in the same vein as the Conjuring film, which this whole idea of this whole parasitic twin brother could work, but not in this type of universe that Wan has perfected. I know Wan's writing, and it's usually fantastic. It can be cliche and campy from time to time, but most of the time, it's realistic and interesting. And honestly, his writing lost me after the reveal of what was actually going on. The rest of the film gets more and more dumb towards the end, and even a point of a fake out which shows off this girl power moment, which it could have been done in so many different ways, but it went cliche, much like Captain Marvel did with their cliche girl power moments. It's my main issue with this movie. It could have been fantastic. The concept, while absurdist and weird, can work, but when you mix it with the cliche lines to a point where it gets tiring, poor acting, awful visuals, it just loses me. This movie has so much potential, and it threw out the window in favor of confusing the audience to try to get this oh shit moment, but instead it gets a okay, I guess. The film story doesn't get help from its visuals. It relies on some heavy CGI, which is not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. CGI is meant to aid or replace things that aren't easily accomplished. Landscapes, characters, even blades have been done in the past and look great. Everything that uses CGI here looks atrocious. The blade, Gabriel's body movements, the blood, and the room transformations just look bad. Even Gabriel's face looks bad half the time. There's even a moment while I was watching this with my girlfriend where we both stopped and yelled, "That's a fucking mask!" It's hard on the eyes, but everything looks bad. The cinematography is by the same guy who has done great stuff, especially with Wan at the helm. I really don't understand why this movie just looks terrible. We've been doing CG for more than a decade now, and you can't nail the blood properly? Use fake blood. Shit, it could have been used ketchup and probably more appealing in the eyes. I feel like I'm looking at PS3 graphics and cutscenes. It detracts from the movie and takes me out of it. To give this movie the minimum credit for its visuals at least. Gabriel's design is unsettling. His face is gnarly. The pirate look isn't the greatest, but the design of his face is absolutely creepy. Just at points, it doesn't look good. The acting here is subpar, to say the least. If it was done on purpose, I'm fine with it, usually. Usually it's for comedic or parody purposes, but here it's a mixture of bad visuals, weird-ass story, and adding the acting on top of it. I can't excuse the acting on top of all that. Our leading lady, Annabelle Wallis, has been in some things that have been gotten good to okay reception, but it seems like every time she's a leading actress in a role, it ends up being a bad movie. She was the mummy in the 2017 movie with the same title. She kind of seems like a blank acting here. If anything, she's underacting. She's probably a great actress, but I didn't see anything that tell me otherwise. Maddie Henson, who plays Sydney, the sister, tries to play into this absurdity of the movie, and honestly, it's a little over the top, but she's probably the best actress here, pushing into the absurdity at least. Jar Jung, who plays the lead detective, seems to just be there. He's the other lead in the movie, and he's just there. His job is to be on top, if not the best actor, aside from Annabelle, who is the main character, obviously. And he's just blank. He has no personality, he has no charisma, he's just there. Nicole White, who was the other detective in the movie, feels like she was given the script, and all her lines were say, "Be the sassy older black woman," which irks me a ton. Couldn't give her any other character than a huge ass stereotype. It just bothers me a lot. The cliche acting, dialogue, while it can be used in products to get a laugh or to wink the audience to tell us that we shouldn't take this seriously, it's giving a serious tone and it isn't funny, which ends up me laughing at it for being so bad. Overall, this movie has a ton going for it. A great director and idea. Seems something that, even with subpar visuals, whose track record really speaks for itself at this point. I really walked away from this in my head in the worst possible way. Absolutely hating every moment. It sets up and has some interesting ideas, but collapses in on itself. It's upsetting to see such a big messed up from Wan. I really can't place the blame on anyone but him. He had a lot of people he's used in past to make excellent films, like the Conjuring movies. He's passed up on his trilogy to make in favor of this passion project, but he couldn't take an extra years to refine the visuals, that blade at least, or the blood. It breaks down on itself and it's being this jumbled mess. I really expected more from Wan. It just seems odd, inconsistent, doesn't really make sense to me, much like the movie. Also, being a passion project couldn't save it. And for God's sake, please do not make a sequel. I saw the ending. I'm begging you, please do not make a sequel. I saw that tease. I do not want to see any more of this film.